Are the Vikings good enough to make the playoffs this year? Stay tuned and find out what I have the Vikings 2023-2024 NFL record being. Before we hop into today's video, I just want to give a huge shout out to all you guys who have subscribed over the last month. You guys have supported the channel a lot. Thank you so much. The views have been insane. We've gained almost 1,000 subscribers in the last month, so I'm very blessed and thankful for you guys. And I'm not going to hold up too much of your time, so we're just going to hop straight into the Minnesota Vikings 2023-2024 NFL season predictions. So game number one, they are hosting Tampa Bay. And I feel like, if Tom Brady was there, I feel like this would be a pretty good game. We don't actually know who the starting quarterback is for Tampa Bay. I assume it's going to be Baker Mayfield, but I could be wrong. I know that they signed Baker Mayfield, so we'll find out, I guess, closer to the start of the season. But I think the Vikings are going to win this game. So I don't think, I think the Vikings are going to come out hot. They got embarrassed in the playoffs. They're ready to come out hot. And again, this Vikings video is going to be probably relatively the same as the Lions video. I'm not going to go too in-depth with the games. I'm just going to predict who wins and kind of move on from there. That way the video's not too long. And that way I can save like my game predictions for later on in the season. So game number two, they're going on to face the Philadelphia Eagles Monday night. It is the same exact script as last year for the Vikings versus Eagles. So I think the Eagles win. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Eagles beat the Vikings. I think it will be a lot closer game this time, but I do think the Eagles will best the Vikings in this one. So the Vikings start out 1-1. Then the Vikings go on to face the Los Angeles Chargers at home, which I think they actually will win. I know the Chargers are coming off, also an embarrassing playoff loss, and they're, I think the Chargers, depending on who they play, I think they start off hot, but I think they're still going to try to get their pieces rolling and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't remember if they signed Austin Eckler. I'd have to check, and if I do check, it'll be on the video somewhere saying that they did or did not yet. But I think the Vikings win, moving on to 2-1. All right, this next game, they go to Carolina, and I feel like this would be a pretty good game. Bryce Young will probably be starting for Carolina. Not entirely sure, but he probably will be. So I think the Vikings do win here, but I do think it's going to be a pretty entertaining game with Carolina's running game, Bryce Young starting, and the Minnesota Vikings offense. And their defense, I don't know if it's going to be improved, but if it's not improved, I feel like it could be a very exciting game to watch on television. Game number 5 for the Minnesota Vikings, they go and face the Kansas City Chiefs at home again. They seem to have like a home away type of schedule. I'm sorry, they're not beating the Chiefs. Yeah, they're just not beating the Chiefs. They're going to take an L there. Game number 6, they again go away to the Bears. They are traveling to face the Bears. And I think the Bears are going to get the best of them this time. I think the Vikings, they started out 3-1. They drop a 2-game losing streak, and they end up going 3-3 throughout their first 6 games of the season. And I don't know. I think the Bears are just well improved, hopefully well improved. I have a soft spot for Justin Fields. I'd love to see him succeed. But I do think the Bears will get the best of them. They almost beat them last year, so I don't see what they couldn't do this year. All right, the Vikings come back home for one more game before they have 2 straight road games. They go on and face the San Francisco 49ers. I'm sorry, if San Francisco's at all like they were last year, I think the 49ers win. They are just a hard mouth, run the ball, good coaching football team. And if they didn't, get completely dismantled, I don't know if they would have won the championship game because the Eagles had a phenomenal roster, but that game would have been so much closer. If they at least had a quarterback that could throw the ball, that game would have been so much closer, but it wasn't. So I do think the 49ers end up winning this game though, and the Vikings drop to 3-4. I do think that they go on to beat the Packers at Lambeau, and then they go on and beat the Falcons in Atlanta. So, they end up coming back, being a 5-4 team, about the 500 mark, and then they're feeling good as they get their next home game, which just so happens to be against the Saints and Derek Carr. I don't know, I feel like this is going to be a very entertaining game. Right now, I take the Vikings to win, so I'll mark them down as a W, but I do think the Saints have a lot of potential, and Derek Carr, I think, is underrated. He is a good quarterback. He's just had a really terrible run in the NFL with coaching and stuff like that, so I do think Derek Carr might bounce back if he gets a good coach and good team around him down in New Orleans, but I'm going to mark the Vikings to get a W here. They go on to then travel to Denver, and if Denver's at all like they were last year, I want to say the Vikings are going to win, but for some reason I see Sean Payton improving them a little bit, so I'm going to take the Broncos here. So I'm sorry, Vikings fans. If you're getting an L or an L, I don't know which way the L is in the camera, so we'll just hold them both up. Then you go on to face the Chicago Bears at home. This is where I think you beat the Bears, moving to 7-5. I think, you're at home this time. You face them once, you've seen them once, your defense has time to prepare. If your defense is terrible like it was last year, I'm sorry, you are not going 13-4. You are not going 13-4. So you better pray that your defense is better than it was last year. You are not winning 11 close games. You are not. So, but you win this game. And I think I said you were going to be 7-5. But then after this game, you go almost a whole month without playing at home. You have your bye week, which some teams lose during the bye week, which I don't know how they do. They lose players, I don't know. But anyways, you come back from your bye week and you end up playing a road game against the Raiders. And yeah, you guys are beating the Raiders. I'm sorry. The Raiders have Jimmy G. Jimmy G might not be healthy. I don't know. The Raiders are probably not going to be very good this year. I could be wrong, but you guys are going to beat the Raiders. So that moves you guys to 8-5. You're feeling pretty good, still in line for a playoff spot. And then you go on to face the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sorry, you're not beating the Bengals. The Bengals are probably the second best team, third best team in the AFC. As much as I hate to say it, I just don't think that, I think the AFC is loaded and it's going to be very tough to beat an AFC team. I think the AFC is miles ahead of the NFC at this point, especially for quarterback play. So I do not see you guys beating the Bengals. I'm so sorry, but 8-6. You guys are still in the run for the playoffs, I think. And then you guys have 2 straight home games, the Lions and then the Packers, which I think you beat the Lions at home, and then I think you beat the Packers at home, but then you go on to lose to the Lions at, it's Ford Field, right? Yeah, Ford Field. I think you go on to lose to the Lions at Ford Field. Those are my season predictions for the Vikings. I think I have you guys at 11-6. 11-6, 10 or 7. I will put a confirmation on the video somewhere after going through and editing it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I don't want it to be a super long video. I want it to be fairly short, simple, just get the point across. And I'll start making my weekly predictions in August. So August, I don't want to say a date, but like right around August 25th, 26th should be my first week 1 NFL prediction video. And then we'll carry on every week from there. So again, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Touch that like button, it helps out the channel a lot. Subscribe if you're new around here. And we got a whole new studio set up. Things are gonna be improving. I just moved, so I am so sorry if you were looking forward to seeing my studio buddy back in the studio with me. He won't be in the studio with me anymore unless he comes down to visit. So we are now 700 miles apart, sadly, but it was probably for the best. So thank you guys for watching. Again, touch that like button. Share with a friend if you are new. Share with a friend, a family member, anyone. Share with them. And I'll see you boys in the next video. Peace.